ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsy69 and welcome back to the channel. Now, all this week, or most of this week, we have had the top 5 week. Seeing as this is the last episode of this week, I have done a request from a new patron of mine, and what I've decided to do is just change it up a notch. So instead of having top 5, we've got top 10. We've got a top 10, and his request was my favourite tank every tier. From tier 1 to tier 10, my favourite tank. So that is exactly what we're going to do. So coming in at tier 1 is the Panzer II. Now this tank used to be a tier 2, but in update 5.5, Wargaming removed all the tier 1s and they pretty much put most of the tier 2s back to tier 1. And this is an autoloader, and it's actually very good, very, very good. It used to be good in tier 2, and it's probably now even better in tier 1. It's got very troll armor, and you really can get some bounces in this thing. So for me, this was quite an easy choice. It is a fun tank to play. It's definitely a fun tank to start off. I'll probably maybe wouldn't recommend it so much if you've never played Blitz and you're just starting Blitz. Because of the autoloader, it might be a bit difficult to get the hang of. But when you're going up the tiers, if you played the Blitz before and you just want a new line, then this is a good line, and it's a good tank to start off with on a new line. So that is my tier 1. Coming in at tier 2 is the Cruiser 3. Now, this is... I had a couple of choices. I had the Mini Mouse, the Panzer H, or whatever it is. But this, I think, is a lot more better. It has the speed, it has the gun depression, and what I love about this is it has that 2-shell autoloader, but it's not like the Panzer II that you've just seen. You can fire each one separate. So I like that. The gun depression, as I said, the speed, the penetration, it's a fantastic tank. Obviously, it has not got no armor, so it's not a tank, again, I would recommend to start off your Blitz career because of that armor. I would definitely recommend a tank with a little bit more armor to get you going and to get you the hang of bouncing and angling, etc. But the Cruiser 3, again, is a fantastic tank if you're just looking at going up a new line. It's a fantastic line. The whole line is pretty good and enjoyable when you start learning the game. So the Cruiser 3, and it's the same as all the other cruisers. It's pretty much the same for the whole line, this tank. There's not a lot of armor going up the tiers, but they've got all British great guns. All the British have got fantastic guns, gun depression, good pen, and most of them are really, really quick. So definitely my favourite tier 2. As I've said, there were a couple of other tanks that could potentially be in there, but I've definitely gone for the Cruiser 3 because after playing it, I thought, you know what, this is definitely my favourite tier 2. So coming in at tier 3, and it's a tank I don't actually own, and of course it's no other than the Kenyotsu. I don't own it, unfortunately I don't own it, but I can still play it because I have a press account. Now, anyone that has the Kenyotsu and decides that the Kenyotsu isn't their favourite tier 3, then I do not know what they're smoking, because this is a broke tank. Now, it's not as broke as it once was. Now, because of the nerfs and etc. to the lower tiers, this really struggles against top tiers, and you always have to... The penetration really, really sucks on this tank. So you really have to use a lot of the premium ammunition. It has no armor. The only thing that's OP about this is, of course, the gun, the autoload. I mean, look, 4 shells, 0.7 seconds in between each shell. Bang, bang, and then you've only got a 3-second reload to reload your entire clip. So you are constantly smashing that button. When you're top tier, then yes, the tank is broke. But when you're bottom tier, you're going to find it very hard to penetrate those higher tiers. But you can still easily pump out 1500 damage, and it's one of the easiest tanks to ace in the game. Next up, tier 4, we have the Panzer B2. And again, there was a few tanks that could fit into that could be my favourite tier 4. There's quite a few. the Matilda was very close. I was very close to adding the Matilda in because of the armor. And again, when you're top tier, it's absolutely brutal. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with the Panzer B2 because it has that preferential matchmaking where you are always top tier. You will never ever see tier 5 in this tank. I mean, that has to be a proper seal clubbing tank, which is what I'd done at the beginning of my top 5, the top 5 seal clubbing tanks, and this was there. So I'm going to add that for that reason. Not only that, but back in the day, me and my workmate used to just roll in double these. I mean, a platoon always top tier and in good tanks. And when you're top tier, there's a lot of tier 3s that are going to struggle to pen you. So because you're top tier all the time, premium ammo doesn't really matter too much because you're going to pen most things that are going to come in front of you. So that is why it's my favourite tier 4 in the game. So moving on to tier 5, as soon as we've seen this rabbit, yeah, 998, nothing special. Tier 5, it is the T1 Heavy, and again, there's so many tanks that could fit into my favourite, the KV1, the KV220, there's loads. But for me, this is one of the most broke tier 5s at the moment. Wargaming buffed the armour, but you got to remember, if you're going to go up this line, it's not invincible. It's not invincible. You look at my health. I mean, we're top tier, and we almost got deleted by DW2. And we are one shot. We're pretty much a one shot. The speed of the tank, the rate of fire of the tank, the armor of the tank is just absolutely an amazing tank to play. And it's definitely a tank to go if you are new to Blitz. If you haven't got any tier 5s, this at the moment, along with the KV1, is definitely a tank to pick. Next up, tier 6, and again, this was a hard decision. I had the Cromwell B, the Panzer 4S, you even got the KV2. There's loads of tier 6s that you can pick to be your favourite, but I've gone with the VK2801. I've had to go with it because even though it got nerfed some time ago, it is still a great tank. It is still amazing. The speed, it's a light tank, the rate of fire, it's just, when you're top tier in this thing, it's an absolute beast of a tank. But there's still one thing, even though it's such a good tank, there is still one thing you need to pay close attention to when driving this tank, and that of course is KV2s. There we go, get wrecked. So that is my number, my tier 6. Coming in tier 7, it has to be the Dracula. Now, I've done videos before. Dracula, it's one of the most fun tanks to play in the game, especially in platoons. I don't think it's the best tier 7, don't get me wrong, it's not the best tier 7. I would say the Type 62 Dragon is better than the Dracula, but it's not as fun. The Dracula is just so much fun to play, and I'm not picking this because it's better. It's just a lot more fun to play with the speed of this thing. The look of it, it's just, again, in a platoon, you just can absolutely go wild in these things. Just rush, YOLO. And when you're YOLOing even a tier 8 like this, they're not going to know what to do. When you've got 2 of these in a platoon, they're not going to know what to do. I think it's a fantastic tank. It is a really, really good tank. And even though a lot of people don't like made-up tanks, I like this. It's got that 1-second track repair as well. So if you get tracked within 1 second, it will automatically detrack and get back to normal. So you don't have to use any repair kits or anything like that. But it is literally just a YOLO tank. Not such a YOLO tank, but you just go and you just constantly move. You just constantly move in this tank. Don't stop, and you will have fun in this tank. You can do that more when you work together with someone. When you do it on your own, it's not as fun, and you're most likely going to get wrecked. But when there's 2 of you in a platoon, just YOLOing, the enemy, you're going to catch the enemy off guard, and sometimes they just think, whoa, there's 2 Draculas rushing me. So that is my tier 7. Coming in at tier 8, it has to be the Scorpion G. One of my best, or if not the best, premium tank in the game. It is such amazing. The aim time, the accuracy, the damage, the speed, everything about this tank is absolutely beautiful, except for that armor. Now, this game, we actually have a really, really good game, but we do kind of mess up, and we are going to lose it. So we're not going to watch the end because I'll really mess up towards the end. Now, I've always said with the Scorpion G, play it from some distance. Play it from some distance because you don't want to be shot. You want to refrain from being shot, because once you get shot, you're going to get wrecked no matter what. You're only going to get troll bounces. Now, that shot was bad. I shouldn't have even... I knew they was there, especially the Chieftain. I shouldn't have even risked taking that shot. And I'm going to do exactly the same, but we do manage to get a troll bounce. And that's a lucky bounce. That's not every day you're going to get a bounce in the Scorpion G. So that actually gives us an advantage over this ST. Now, I can actually clear this guy. I was going to try and just ram him a little bit and hopefully go for the kill, but it is going to be very troll, and we're only going to leave him on 8 HP. Now, if he was shooting HE, he would be able to clear us, but luckily for me, he's not, so we are just going to shoot HE at its side, and we do clear him. So, definitely a tank worth buying. I would definitely recommend this tank all day long if it comes to store at the right price. You could do shots like this, I mean, goodbye Borzik, no problem whatsoever, and I was really upset this game because it's such an easy win. Even with me being 83 hit points, it is such an easy win. This K91 does a pretty good job in holding these guys. Look, they're both pretty much one-shots, and I am spotted, so I don't just want to go out because I will get shot. But as soon as I see that the K91 got shot, I am going to poke out and get that shot on the Chieftain. But that's pretty much it. They're going to die. He's going to kill the K91, and then I do end up dying. So that is my tier 8. Coming in at tier 9. Again, this is such a hard decision because there's loads of tier 9s at the minute. When I first started the game, I used to hate tier 9, but now tier 9 is probably my favourite tier. There's so many good tier 9s now. It has to be the AMX prototype. Now, again, it could be the T54, it could be the Waffentrager, which is just amazing. It could be the T30. There is loads of tier 9s that I absolutely adore, but this just comes out on top. It's such amazing, and it has a feel to the Leopard 1 STB kind of tank. It's just an amazing tank, unless you shoot troll shots there on the Ferdinand and we do bounce. But again, this game is going to be a loss, and it's not going to be a loss because I die. It's going to be a loss because of stupid supremacy, and no one, including me, wanted to cap any bases. So that's what happens when you don't play supremacy, how supremacy is supposed to be played. So the AMX first prototype, AMX Proto, is my favourite tier 9 in the game, and one of my favourite premiums, up there with my second, maybe my third favourite premiums in the game. But that leads me on to find the final tier 10, and of course it has to be the Leopard 1. The Leopard 1 has always been my favourite tank in the game. Ever since I played it, it's always been, just look back at my videos, it's always been my number 1. Especially now, a few updates ago, Wargaming decided to buff it. Now, they only buffed it a little bit, but that little buff they done made it now the highest DPM medium tank in the game. So it did make a little bit of a difference. Not much of a difference, but it did still make a difference. The reason I like this, it's a very hard tank to play. So even though this is my favourite tank in the whole game, I don't want people to go out there and think, oh, the Leopard 1's amazing. It's Meadsy's favourite, let's go get it. It's a very difficult tank to play. It's got no armour. What I love about it is the speed, the damage of the thing, and that accuracy. It has got a laser gun. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed my top tier, my top tank in each tier. First ever top 10. Maybe there'll be some more, who knows. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye. With